the top 10 Xbox fighting games for 2024. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. We've got a selection of fighter experiences to enjoy. First up, there's Killer Instinct, Combo Breaker. Anyways, this game has actually recently just been upgraded with some enhanced visuals, balancing tweaks, and other adjustments to the overall package that has just kind of modernized it for its anniversary. You get a wide range of unique Killer Instinct original characters, alongside some guest stars, such as maybe somebody from the Battletoads, the Arbiter, and just so much more. Well, General ROM too, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, I get to fight locally, fight online. This has had so many updates and so much content added to it. It's got like a bazillion achievements you can unlock too. This is a very, very complete fighting game that has had a decade of time into it. Here we have Soul Calibur 6. The most recent entry in the Soul Cal franchise features some great guest characters, as the franchise is always known for, alongside a great stellar selection of roster character favorites, alongside some new elements in regards to who you can fight and battle against. This game has more of a focus on melee weapon-based combat, alongside a touch of armor and or gear being thrown into the mix for this particular entry in the franchise. It's a long fabled battle for the sword, a battle of time and wit, using really enhanced particle effects, visuals, and just upgraded Soul Cal mechanics for the era that it did release in. And I'm always sitting here awaiting the next entry in this franchise, as it is one that I have thoroughly enjoyed for, well, I guess you would say decades at this point. But yeah, Soul Calibur is awesome, and Soul Cal 6 should be on your roster of fighting games to check out if you haven't already. Dead or Alive 3. So this is a bit more of a nostalgic Dead or Alive game, but because of the magic of the upgraded visuals and backwards compatibility for the platform, Dead or Alive 3 looks incredible. It plays really well, it's incredibly fluid, it's smooth, it's got great character models, it holds up very, very well. And it's a great fighting game. Even to this day, it's still very well done, it's very impressive, it's got the modes that you would expect, it's got that great roster of Dead or Alive characters that you maybe know and love from the many years that this franchise has been going. And while we await a new Dead or Alive entry, Dead or Alive 3 I think really does set the standards for something that is really kind of historic, but also fresh and still new, and something that feels really good to play. And as I said, the magic of backwards compatibility just kind of makes this game shine like never before, really, I guess you would say. This is Mortal Kombat 1. So obviously we've got a bit of a reboot, I guess you would say, of the Mortal Kombat franchise. You could still go for 11. 11 still looks really good in this current modern era. But if you want to get even more graphical, more intense, have a bit of a sideshow character jump and battle kind of combo mix thing, Mortal Kombat 1 is ready. It's gruesome, it's crazy, it's over the top, it's absolutely just ridiculous, and it's true to the overall lore and setup of the Mortal Kombat franchise. Just with the whole one kind of thing. I don't know why that's so popular in video games. You know, you do a whole loop-de-loop and then you come back and you're like, we're doing one. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why that's become such a thing, but makes sense, and it just compiles for what is a pretty good, well-rounded fighting game that offers a lot of unique modes, ways to battle, and ways to fight not only alone, but in duos. This is Injustice 2. So this is still a really, really great fighting game. It takes the DC heroes and mixes them into this darker sort of narrative and lore, where everything's gone wrong, sides are fractured, and now the different sides of the DC universe are split, and we're just getting a combative game out of that. You've got story, you've got, you know, kind of this really interesting set of differing modes where you can compete against others, you know, you can do online stuff. There's a lot to enjoy in this one, and this one did also feature a bit of an armor focus in regards to gear and kind of collecting that and bettering your units, but the character models and designs and the world and everything like that in Injustice 2 is still very, very well done. And I always like to include it when I can, because I think it does hold up beautifully well, despite its age. It's a very, very visually impressive and combat impressive game with lots of neat interactive bits, and definitely feels like the Mortal Kombat of that time too. This is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle Special Edition. So we got a fresh entry into the lineup here. So this is a kind of complete version of a game that has a bunch of different universes coming together to battle. You know, there's BlazBlue, Persona 4 Arena, Under Night in Birth, Ruby. There's also Senran Kagura, Akatsuki Blitzkampf, and Arcana Heart. It's just got like a huge roster of different like IP and franchises in like one fighting game. It's a 2D visual presentation with tag team mechanics, 2v2 matches, swapping between characters, neat mechanics, and yeah, there's a bit of a story and some other modes to this one, but it's definitely kind of a fascinating fighting game. Like, it's very, very well done and well put together. Just like Street Fighter 6, the return of Street Fighter to the Xbox platform. It has been a long time since we've gotten Street Fighter. Literally, when we previously did this list, I had to use an older Street Fighter game because we just didn't have the newest one on the platform. But now we do. It's got a very stylized aesthetic to it. The game is very well rounded in terms of different modes. There's like this sort of hub thing. There's character personalization, just like Soul Cal has, which is wonderful. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, Street Fighter 6 is just kind of wild, very stylistic, very unique, very dynamic environments, pops with vibrant color. It's got just a huge range of different ways to interact with it. It's got a healthy selection of extra content that they've been steadily adding to the overall experience. And yeah, it's just kind of a great new entry for the franchise for the modern era, and for Xbox players, a return of the series to the platform where it has been absent for a whole generation, basically. This is Fight Night Champion, another of the backwards compatible offerings, the last of the Fight Night series. I guess we haven't really even had many modern boxing games since even, to be honest, but Fight Night Champion holds up strangely well. It's got a very distinct, hard-hitting style of combat to it, and it definitely has some really unique inclusions in regards to all-stars, and it really does feel like a game of another time, just in terms of like who's included here, the technology, what this had to offer. There was like this legacy build-up system you could do. It was kind of, I guess you could say to a degree, the peak of the Fight Night franchise, which has been dormant for a very, very long time. But thankfully we can still enjoy this great fighting game because I still think it delivers some hard-hitting action, punches, and just combat that only a boxing experience could really do, as they've basically moved to UFC at this point. This is Guilty Gear Strive. So another new entry to the platform. This really does retain the core essence of the franchise, but revamps some mechanics and adjusts some things. So this one has a story conclusion focus in it, and you're basically battling in these hyper-stylistic setups and battles. Like, this game really has its own flair to it. Very, very animated, kind of effects-driven with each hit combat and kind of move that you do while you're playing this one. It's really, really intriguing, and a series I'm very happy to see on the platform. There was also additional fighter rosters available, and this was just kind of a complete, full version of Guilty Gear Strive, and it was a nice surprise when it did arrive on the platform, because, well, yeah, we were just kind of missing some of these long-running series, so it was good to have them finally drop for Xbox. Here we have the King of Fighters 15. So I actually really like this one too. This one I got to actually cover when it came out and stuff. It's really neat. It's got a massive, and I mean like a massive roster of fighters. There's tons more from even the last time I played it when I went back to get fresh footage and everything for it. The game is a lot of fun. It's got great combat. It's got very stylistic backdrops. As I said, a massive roster of characters. It's a nice evolution of its composed systems of combat. Teams of 3 fighters can go in this one too. Parry system for Shatter Strike. There's just a host of different modes, a host of different ways to fight, and just a great selection of characters that you can go in and fight with. Anyways, here's 10 great fighting games available for the Xbox platform. Hopefully you found something cool to jump into, and hopefully this selection of games offers a wide range of choices for those looking for something new to battle in. Liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well.